back in Dublin, and again, as I said, helped the case against Mark Nash. He was released from prison in Manchester on September the 11th, 2000, and the next day he was found dead.
Nu, am pus bitrate de video la 21.000.
The trial against Mark Nash wouldn't actually occur
Și
for a
am dat la
long
presetul
time.
la best
See, he was in
quality
prison for
și
for the
AV1.
Doyle
Mă, nu știu
murders.
cum se
So
vede
the
cu AV1.
prosecution were like, no rush. Let's make sure we get everything together.
Și da, dar n-am avut
DNA
opțiunea asta până
technology
acum.
was advancing.
Nu știu,
In
am
fact,
dat
it
update
wouldn't
și
be until
Bob a apărut iară.
2009 that he would be formally charged with the
Poate lumea
Grange
citi
Hall
hardware cum
murders
trebuie.
when DNA of the victims was found on his jacket.
Pula mea știe.
In the meantime, there would be a major commission investigation into the case against Dean Lyons, him being arrested for it, him being charged with it, him being hint, getting to maybe gobble up this suggestions about the whole deal. A few guards would get a slap on the wrist, but that would really be it. The criminal profiler would also be criticized, and not because of the criminal profiler themselves, but because the Gardaí took what he said so literally and seriously. They were trying to get the case to fit the narrative that had been created.
Bounce effect, though.
Just used as a bit of a help. They were taking, we have to take all of these boxes. Mark Nash went on trial in March 2015. 1 month later, he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison.
Today, Mark Nash was found guilty by unanimous verdict of murdering Sylvia Shields and Mary Callanan.
Today's verdict establishes Mark Nash as this country's most prolific serial killer. What the jury didn't know is that he's already a convicted double murderer. He's serving 2 life sentences for a brutal attack on a young married couple, Carl and Catherine Doyle, at their home in Roscommon in 1997. Mark Nash might never have been caught for the Grange Gorman murders had he not made those admissions and put himself in the frame. Unlike the murders he committed in Roscommon 5 months later, there was little evidence at the home of Sylvia Shields and Mary Callanan to connect him to their killings. The investigation team here at the Bridewell Garda station didn't know about him at the time and weren't looking for him. They thought they had already solved the crime and had the killer in custody, a homeless heroin addict, Dean Lyons. He was subsequently exonerated, but not before he had served 9 months in prison. There was a commission of inquiry into how a man was charged with a crime he didn't commit. It found that while the Gardaí did ask him leading questions, there was no deliberate attempt to frame him. An unprecedented public apology from An Garda Síochána came too late. Dean Lyons had died 5 years earlier in 2000. Today's verdict further vindicates him. Mark Nash fought but failed to prevent this trial going
am pus la 23, 21.000 kilobytes că vreau frame rate și să meargă cum trebuie. Ce pula mea trebuie să bagă în seamă și YouTube-ul ăsta? Asta nu faci. E prea mult. Păi ia cât îți trebuie, nu trebuie să... decât să gâtuie, știi că vreau să mă uit după aia. Nu, cum se vede, că acum se vede beton. Mă uit așa, wow, tot e super. Nu la mine pe ecran handicapat, pe ecranul celălalt, nu vezi că-s două. Pula mea, vii la mine de ani de zile, nu vezi că am 2 ecrane pe... Jesus Christ. Vreau eu ăștia în best tu, what the fuck. Nu știu ce să fac aici. Doare-mi pula. Așa, achievement complete. Asta trebuie să le iau într-un final că ajung la 30, probabil. Don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care.
The only thing she could say that he said during this was she needed to die. That was it. And then he went on the run on the west coast in the Galway and stuff. He's a fucking psychopath. He's probably Ireland's most serial killer who is now spending the rest of his unnatural life behind bars. Sadly, though, for the sole survivor of the Grange Gorman attacks, and Myrna, her life would also be quite tragic. In 1999, she married and they moved in together in 2001. In 2005, Anne came home to find her house on fire and her bedridden husband dead inside. And herself passed away the following year. And so ends the story of the Grange Gorman murder. It's a pretty infamous case here, and definitely one of the most gruesome in Ireland. Case of
だから用向きを言え。姉弟子参上です。そろそろ本番。ここからは私の舞台。
So yeah, a terrific case, sad and disturbing. But Shanae, I mean, it's another case of kind of mess ups and fucks. I mean, you kind of got to wonder if Mark Nash...
Bă, frate, deci să mor dacă nu... Total, din 8 din 10 cazurile astea sunt cu asigurare de viață, bă. Bă, îmi vezi cu 1.000.000 de euro pe tine să te omor.
こだ。引用創生。私が来た。必死。避ける。どうぞせい。
In Missouri City. The story also is the
もはや名数はつくぞ。私がしたの？
I want to mention this at the end of the video, but real quick, there's a lot of bots and scammers going on YouTube in the comments right now. Long story short,
Marian, dacă te uiți, se vede bine sau...
Anyone claiming to be me on Telegram, it's not me. And if you get replies in the YouTube comments from somebody who you think is me, make sure just check.
Că la 1000 de megabits ne doar mă pun să pun minimum video bitrate.
Very irritating. Also, everyone, a huge thank you for all the love and support the That Chapter podcast has received. It is currently number 6 in all podcasts on Spotify and number 1 in true crime. That's just, it absolutely blows me away. Like, this is insane, so I cannot thank you all enough now. This is the story again.
そんなものか。私が来た。両親を共に滅す。はい。よける。新規集結。ここだ。どうとせ生徒が。邪魔くさいやつだ。どうとせ命ずる。くらえ。私が来た。必死。引用創生。
Yes, I see the way they I hear her garage right now. Somebody shot? Yes. You need an ambulance. He's down. There's still a person out there. There's a black gentleman. He says a black shirt and a black pants. The lady is down in her garage. She's been shot 2 times. Oh dear. Okay.
Farah, she was alive when the medics, you know, reached her. And then they were going to rush her to a helicopter to get her to the nearest hospital.
Rof helicopter, l-a dus la nearest hospital și după aia back hold.
Followed by a scream and then another second quick gunshot. Suspect was seen hiding by a tree.
Ce face? Dă cu luminoul aia pe pereți imediat de vedere.
邪魔くさいやつだ。ここだ。どうぞせい。メークルキを見てください。私が来た。一進。任用創生。はい。ここだ。無限。私が来た。どうぞせい。
Farah was 33 years old at the time of her death, born in Guildford, England. She grew up in Croydon, South London, and after she would go to college. And then she began working at a travel agency. She began dating an Englishman at the time, and soon became engaged to him. But when Farah Backer's parents, with whom she was extremely close, when they moved to Houston, Texas, Farah, well, she chose to go along with them. Much to the delight of her fiancé. No doubt, once she arrived in Texas, right? She worked in a travel agency, so she began applying for jobs, and within 1 week, she got a job at American Airlines. Ticket agency. Now, you might be thinking, no, it wasn't. Just her accent, which made everything posh. She was also extremely charming. She was
Ia o melodie bună. Such acts every day, on a daily basis. Shit in his mouth. So yeah, stop masturbating over there and
let us know because Farah, she was not terribly keen on that herself. It wasn't really her cup of tea. She was like, "Grand thanks." Mark red wine over here once again. Bob was like, I need to be eating shit all the time.
Use
and
4
when I'm
hit
not
enhanced
eating
basic
shit,
attack.
you'll hear me
Okay.
asking, where's the shit? And when that
Why
wasn't
don't you
happening,
say so, bro?
you
You
get very
did say
mad.
so.
You get
I
very
didn't
cross.
read it.
Hence, a divorce. For Bob, he was Tom Petty. So it would end.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
But that didn't mean he wasn't involved, right? That very night, $1,000 was spent in Bobby Fratta's glove compartment of the car, which the police were like, it's quite a lot of money to be carrying around. Was it maybe payoff?
Use the 4 hit enhanced basic attack once.
Come on,
God,
guys,
bro, get the fuck out.
The old rug, you know, nothing.
Never mind. I used all 4 basic, 5 basic
stories
attacks.
Of bizarre, crazy crimes
For each.
and strange disappearances.
Like,
and you know what that means? You gotta watch
No, I did
your...
this.
Sometimes it might be best to be invisible from those out there who might be trying to get you. Excuse my French and dangerous.
2,347
World Wide Web. So, type your booty cheeks online. You need to get a very, large caliber. Yes, Mr. NordVPN. Actually, I'll do a NordVPN. NordVPN is the online service keeping you safe on the internet. Click your IP address and you can be in any country you want to be, anywhere in the world.
Oh, interesting fucking thing, bro. What the fuck?
And with my special link, that is nordvpn.com/chapter, you can get a deal that is just for you. Specifically, you. Watching this video right now. That is a mega discount on a 2-year plan and also 1 month free. And not only that, to commemorate NordVPN's 11th birthday, for a limited time only, you will also receive an additional mystery gift. On top. Bonus gift? Actually, I've decided I don't want to do this for you anymore. I'll let
そろそろ怒りますよ。サプライズ。いたずらタイム。お気の毒様。どうかもち。
Oh, Yanagi. Stai, Yanagi. Păi nu muere dacă arată ca Yanagi, dar fără să se arăți cine e, atunci vii acasă. Vii acasă primul lucru când ajungi acasă e să te vezi că... Ah, mă las. Dar ce, nu te poți supăra că nu ești Tom Hardy. Să-ți ce pula mea de vreo.
Check her lifestyle. She went out clubbing a lot.
タイムフィールドの新年ご覧あるなのだわ。どこ行く？ユーザーとファイト様どうか私にお導きを。
The whale things, like, totally. Nu, hai să nu vină, că n-am chef acum să stau în casa scării să vorbim, vreau să mă pun la față. Am de lucru mâine, am o groază de cadru rezolvat cu oameni care n-au chef să lucre. Nu, nici măcar nu mă refer la oamenii în România, adică nu că nu mă refer la oamenii în firmă, oamenii în România nu mă refer. Știi cum e când sun un neamț pentru o mașină? Zici că îi cer o favoare, frate. Păi, vrei poze la mașină? Acum? Da, sună la centrală, vorbește cu centrala vreo 3 zile și după aia mă gândesc să-ți spun dacă e mașină vândut sau nu. Du-te în morții mă, nu știu cum vândea mașini. E genul ăla de conversație care dacă o ai live cu cineva îți vine să prinzi de gât. Îți spui, bă, handicapat, vrem să-ți dăm bani. Dă-ne o curvă de mașină. Că e plin internetul de poze, dar când îți zic să vorbim despre ea, nu răspund la telefon. Du-te dracu. Așa mult content are jocul ăsta că mi-e frică că îl termin de seară. De mă refer de combat.
She said her boyfriend Joseph had been hired by Bob to help set up the murder, and that Joseph hired a neighbor of his, a kid, 18-year-old Howard Weedry, to be the trigger man. Howard would get $1,000. Joe Price-Ash would drive Howard to the murder scene, pick him up afterwards, and use Mary's cell phone to tell Bob Prada when it was done. It was all planned.
Lucky I like you suck, deja așa am Wuthering Waves.
And Mary, for some kind of odd reason, what was going on in another night,
はや名数は尽きた。臭いやつだ。引用創生。知れ。
Mamă, ce l-a explodat pe ăsta, ești prost. O dat, o prins purification-ul fix în scăpat de la fel. De-astea, cred că a dat 1 miliard. Nu, frate, este cel mai insane damage count care l-am văzut într-un joc. Nu, îți dai drumul la... nu vezi nimic pe ecran. Dacă tot ai dat bani să vezi bucile astea, măcar, bă, știi, hai să văd ce acolo, nu? 3, 450, 480, 3 miliarde. Nu, frate, aici mă las să fac ce vreau. A, nu, tot așa. Foarte bună Fufu, e standard de mori. E copie fidelă a lui Number 21 din Spanish Trailer. Ai, cu modifier, ce se face, da. Rămas melodia e bugged.
No, not at all.
It's completely off your line.
It's not even on there. No. It won't happen.
Trebuie să faci
until January 2023, when his death sentence was carried out. 65-year-old Bob received the lethal injection at 7:25 p.m. and he died 24 minutes later. When asked if he had any final statements, he said no.
Frada did not make a last statement. He stared straight ahead at the ceiling. He did not acknowledge the victim's witnesses at all.
He still was a coward tonight when he was offered an opportunity to at least extend an olive branch to his son.
I have never had a competition. If I ever do, you will hear it directly from my mouth. I am also not and never have been on Telegram. So just beware of these scammers that are out there. Thank you once again for watching. I will see you real soon in the next little video, or you'll hear from me real soon in the next little podcast. But till then, take care of each other, take care of yourselves. I love you.
それが私の務めだ。あなたと今日の占いは意表を示す夫婦の出番ですね。華麗に登場しちゃうわ。
The defense argued that this case was pretty much all circumstantial, and all the evidence was left open to interpretation. And an intruder couldn't, definitively be ruled out.
So you think that he, after he shot himself, took the firearm back up the
other side of the box. That's your theory?
Dai, coreano,
Thank you. No further questions.
Maybe somebody could have come in that way. And the police dog that we can see in the body cam going around, it didn't pick up any scent of any supposed killer. Right, well, as you can see in the body cam, the dog is panting a lot, which the defense side could have interfered with its scent tracking capabilities. And also this dog wasn't used to tracking on concrete and gravel. It was like a forest dog. The defense called witnesses who said they never saw him lose his temper, act out of anger, misbehave, nothing. A friend said he was laughing and joking the night before when they were playing Halo together online. The motive that has been offered in this case, quite simply, it comes down to this. When Alexander Jackson said this, when he shot himself in the foot, again.
How do you support yourself right now? How do I support myself? Financially. Who pays for your Chick-fil-A? Well, my parents at 20 years old. You have a conversation with your dad.
Păi nu, dar cred că se resetează până vine august, nu? Dar e new fucking patch, of course că se resetează.
What did he tell you? Well, that's just probably your job.
His father, John Jackson, told Alex he needed to get a job or he needed to move out of the house. That's it. And so with that, they argued that the motive was Alexander Jackson's parents were forcing him to get a job, one of those dang dirty jobs, or they were going to kick him out of the house, which is like a common threat. I don't think they would have followed up with actually kicking him out of the house. So they say, well, it's been offered that, well, Alexander Jackson, he saw only one way out, and that was via the .22 caliber rifle, concocting this whole story of an intruder breaking in and killing his family, and then he shot himself in his own foot to make it seem like he was a victim too. At the time of the murders, Alexander Jackson had $30 in his account. But other motives?
My God,
perhaps
$30
even...
to kill someone. Life insurance, iară. Una după alta, man, life insurance.
Some sort of a
deci ca o loterie care știi să te ghicești și să omori la ea. E incredibil. Adică tu te cerți cu Moerăta în ultimul hal și zici, bă, și ceva. Și așa era să mă sugrume aseară. Hai să fac asigurare 2 milioane de euro, să fiu sigur că mă mor. Și partea nașpa e că ea nici măcar nu-l omoară grozav, să scape, și nici nu primește banii, că e suspectă de omor, adică e suspectă la caz și atunci nu-ți dă banii.
Well, you hear Alex later in the interview when they start questioning Alex's sexuality. Alex said, I'm not, I'm straight, but if I wasn't...
Da, insane, bro. Let's kill everybody.
It says that right in there. It's
not you're dead.
His grades dropping during COVID. That's a reason to kill your whole family? Or he didn't have a job? How many kids didn't? How many kids had their grades dropped during COVID? And Alex said that his father was treating him fairly. That his father was letting him make his own mistakes.
A common and recurring theme that you're going to find as you go back over your jury instructions is that in multiple places in those instructions, multiple different instructions, it says that you as jurors are to use your reason and your common sense. It does more than say it. It demands that you as jurors, when you go through this evidence and evaluate it and give weight to it, that you use your reason and common sense. And I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that as you process that evidence and as I sit down and Mr. Johnston stands up and then I get to talk to you one more time, that as you're evaluating everything that you've seen over the last couple of weeks that's been presented in this case, using your reason and common sense, you're going to find that the defendant's story does not make sense, that it is unreasonable to believe the story told by the defendant. And I'm asking you now, I'm going to ask you again when I stand back up, that when you go back and you deliberate over this case and you process the evidence in this case, The two jurors returned verdicts. Murder in the first degree for the murder of Jan Jackson, the murder of Melissa Jackson, and the murder of Sabrina Jackson.
At the end of the trial, Alexander Jackson was found guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder.
All right. On 3 counts. Form of verdict 2 has been executed. We as a jury find defendant Alexander Jackson guilty of theft, murder, first degree.
They guarantee a mandatory without. So, farewell, Alex. That ends this old story. And that's the end of Alex Jackson. A story with a lot of holes in it. That's for sure. A story with a lot of inconsistencies, kind of on both sides, depending on which side of the argument you come down on. It's an odd one. Maybe even odder by everything suspected, but it's also so odd. It doesn't make any sense. It seems just ridiculous that he did actually go through it. It's bizarre, it's insane, and that's the end of the Jackson theater wrap. Before we go, folks, I just want to say again, check out the That Chapter podcast. If you enjoy my videos, you will certainly enjoy the podcast where I'll be telling all sorts of crazy stories and bizarre plots. All the sort of stories I love to tell you, and hopefully you will love to. Twice a week, Mondays and Fridays, so give it a go. But until the next one, which will be as always, take care of each other, take care of yourself.
Oh my god. This is not real right, okay. There's a fucking way. Christian died? Can I have a hug? Am I allowed to do that anymore? No, that's not true. That's not real, right?
Courtney was taken to a psychiatric ward and held as it was believed she was a risk to herself. A day later, she was not charged with anything. It was ruled at the time self-defense. It seems then Courtney moved back to Texas and then to Hawaii. There, she would enter rehab and be treated for substance abuse issues and also PTSD. By some accounts, she was also drinking like mad in Hawaii. I mean, she was probably, of course. Until that was over 4 months after Christian's death, she was arrested. This was August 10th, 2022. She was then extradited back to Florida and charged with second-degree murder. She was taken to Miami-Dade, where she remained to stay away trial. No trial date has been able to be she is not guilty of murder. And you know, that was kind of since then, that is until based on the good reasons that got 2 more brand new shampoo charges. But again, 1 count of interception of wire or electronic communication, which is a third-degree felony. Also 1 count of unauthorized access or excessive access to a computer for allegedly serving as a principal and breaking into her boyfriend Christian Abumseli's laptop. It appears allege that Courtney's parents, Kim and Deborah, were trying to hack into Christian's laptop. They were in contact. They're basically all in this like big text chat. Trying to find out what his name was. So that's where the breaking. And then we're charged. The attorney seems like he's involved in trying to break into Christian's laptop. Well, it's not. I'll get to your attorney in a minute. He's like a bit of a character. It seems like they were trying to break into Christian's laptop. Trying to spread it and make him look bad in defense. Also, he's plenty under self-defense.
Hi, it's almost close to them. We have a couple of detectives that are up the road that will come down here and talk to you and your wife. And then they'll kind of explain a little bit about what's going on. I mean, obviously, I think it's related to your daughter's case in Florida, but that's about all we really understand. There are warrants for you and your wife's arrest. I know. I'm going to let them explain that to you real quick. On your property, right? Well, they have warrants for your arrest. Criminal would have got to work through this as, low-key as possible today. They're going to explain that to you. I don't really have all, I don't know enough about the code to understand how this all works together. But they'll be here in a few minutes, and so... I know. They're going to explain it to you.
Ăla protocol acolo zis că este acum, dacă e tot vecină pe YouTube în rahar în momentul ăsta. Păi nu, dar nu faci MMO și da, vrei să grind 14.000 de ore sau dăm 5 euro acum și just forget about it. N-am treabă dacă jocul cu subscripție, poți să ceri, nu știu, 30 de lei pe lună subscripție și ții loot system-ul ca în World of Warcraft. Numai ca să faci un ca și în World of Warcraft loot system-ul trebuie să faci iteme ca și în World of Warcraft care să te intereseze să le iei. Și faci un MMO de genul ăla cu grafică Unreal Engine 5, cu combat system de Black Desert, cu combo based, și faci miliarde de euro. Da, subscripție și cosmetice. Cosmetice parțial pe bani și parțial care le poți lua doar din arena, doar din raid, doar din, înțelegi? Dai skin-uri, să pice skin-uri în raid. Adică, mamă, frate, eu picat skin-ul ăla. Și să schimbe anumite chestii care, probabil, un tier set, care e foarte bun, nu poți să știi, să te scapi de el. Deci, bă, uite, poți orice tier să te transforme în trinketul ăsta, care arată foarte grozav. Asta nu mai lucrează oamenii care se la Blizzard să facă chestia asta. Poți să-mi iasă vitreolul pe nas, că tot acolo. Și să iau
Christian of himself. They will allege Courtney, of course, was the victim of him, and that she killed him in self-defense. The whole defense.
Ca o diferență huge între jocul ăsta și Genshin, că nici măcar nu mai merită menționat care e mai bun sau care nu. E clar, uite-le cu Edge. Mai e lumină în față la Genshin. Nici nu se compară. Dacă you spend money in Genshin, you're wasting your fucking money.
Doesn't seem to be any evidence of
You're already wasting your fucking money, adică...
But that's likely why they were trying to break into his
laptop. De-aia n-am niciun caracter, în afară de Zani, n-am niciun caracter care am luat dublură. Tot a fost o bucată, mersi, mi-auzim. Nu pot să fac holograme în timp util și din astea, dar pe mine nu mă interesează să fac content care e pentru balet. Înțelegi? De exemplu, tu dacă spargi că tu ai făcut 1000 de euro pe Lucia în Punishing Grey Raven, da? Da. Cât timp a fost pe Lucia? Crim sau Wave, da. Cât timp a fost pe? Bun și bine. Și acum dacă ți iei jocul de o lună, e super OP. Că n-ai cum să strângi într-o lună așa multe event. No, dar asta am strâns multe event și una peste alta nu m-am nevoie mai mult decât de un Battle Pass de când în când. Și este că nu mă jucam jocul cu zilele. Și ce e interesant la jocurile astea, că nu te joci cu zilele, îți dă un groaz de căcaturi când revii, ca să te acapareze, să toate chestiile care le vin de jocul ăsta, Înțelegi? Nu-l iau pe Brando sau pe Augusta. Deci toată șmecheria la jocul ăsta și la jocul de genul e să te aduc aici. Aici încep distracțiile de stai să vedem câte valute sunt aici, ok, stai bundle, uite aici este numai o bucată, adică FOMO, știi, nu de luna asta ai pierdut pool-uri la bani, ok. Deci sunt groază de chestii care sunt spuse psihologic cum trebuie ca să consume, că nu degeaba face 80-100 de milioane de euro pe lună când iese un caracter. Nu știu, 120 de milioane au făcut cu 25 ani. Bă, 120 de milioane nu-s bani, jocul ăsta nu costa mai mult de 25-30 de milioane, cel mai fericit. Nu cred, nu știu cât de greu e să implementezi pe mobile, mobile gaming, așa ceva. Că mă gândesc că nu e ușor să am o platformă care merge și pe telefon și pe calculator destul de impecabil. Pentru că sunt anumite moduri aici care sunt dificile, nu poți să... Jocul ăsta e mult mai greu decât Genshin. Genshin e o luptă de câți bani ai și ce cifre o să ai pe ecran.
Georgiana, mulțumesc. Este alertă de gradul 0 în Mureș. Criminalul periculos Emil Gânj ar fi fost văzut în curtea unei gospodării din județ. Alarma a fost dată de un tânăr de 23 de ani din localitatea Șăulia, la doar câțiva kilometri așadar de locul unde s-a produs crima de acum 2 luni de zile. Polițiștii au descins în forță și au împânzit zona. Mergem la colegul meu Paul Ciurar pentru ultimele noutăți. Paul, ce se întâmplă în momentul de față? Cum se intervine acolo?
Bun găsit, sunt în continuare căutări în zona Șăulia, acolo unde tânărul de 23 de ani a sunat la 112 și a anunțat că l-ar fi văzut pe Emil Gânj, care s-ar fi uitat pe geamul casei sale. Practic, tânărul crede că criminalul ar fi căutat adăpost sau ceva de mâncare, iar în momentul în care și-ar fi dat seama că este observat, s-a făcut nevăzut. Imediat după apelul la 112...
Ce bine că avem criminali și în România, vezi? Îmi place cum adoptăm toate chestiile negative posibile în afară de a face o curvă de autostradă cum trebuie.
Hey you and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this whole video, the story I have for you
nu poți să fugă
today
criminalul de poliție că dă în grob și să spargi ranta. Oh, fuck, stai. Nu trebuie să arunci spike. Deci, auzi, în România nu trebuie să arunci spike strip pe social. Nu mă împingi pe anumite străzi pe Arad și când fute în 2 gropi acolo rămâne. Foarte scurte urmăririle, fără prea multe incidente.
In the autumn of 2019, a 23-year-old man walked into a police station to
Arad
inform the
București destul de des în perioada când eram la București. Și nu-mi venea să cred cât de mult făceam în plus cu mașina, numai din cauza că nu știu cine nu avut chef să termine porțiunea de autostradă, așa de uai. Și mai era că stăteai în trafic câte 3 ore acolo să pleci, că făceam un accident sau vinea un filtru sau pur și simplu era trafic. Și chiar nu... Valea Oltului la fel, horror.
Deserves got nothing to do with it. That's the disappearance of Meng Shiji. A story that's, well, you know, as we see, more murders are committed for love than for hate. So let's give it a go.
Fuck, unclaimed inventory bodies. Măcar nu le-am pierdut, ok, nice. S-a terminat cubii ăla, da, ăla m-am făcut pe tăi. Ca să claim. No, în Genshin, ca să faci asta, trebuie să-ți iei un personaj și nici măcar nu poți să faci la nivelul ăsta, adică trebuie să... Ai văzut cum e cu... Zbori un pic acolo și la revedere. Ăsta e fucking F22, ce sunt Battlefield, uite. Stau acum sus, și acum cobor. Stai că nu pot, că are cur prea fain asta. Și acum cobor. Brrr, brrr. Deci, mă duc pe ce? După aia parachute, direct. Ar fi ceva să intri în Butter, cum era? Nu mă, nu mai țin minte Battlefield unde zicea Butter, Freddy și Charlie și... Avea alte denumiri decât aia originală.
A boy making dentures and a girl making sure
he după ce zbor cu elicopterul în Battlefield e ușor să-ți planezi pentru un joc de celular. Uite, Elden Ring e în față. Elden Ring e în față și Dragon's Fire e după aia. Aici te bați cu Arthas imediat.
On the 10th of October 2019, Joseph Ellis reported his wife at 5:45 p.m.
Fix ai plecat. Bă, tot mai fain arată bătrânii vezi. Față de 1.0 ai o diferență cerească la locul ăsta. Really improve.
In the 2600 block of Eastwood Drive on Tuesday,
Asta mă deranjează la Genshin, că nu improve, îți spune că personajele noi, lasă-mă voi, am înțeles, vrei bani, ok, whatever. Bă, frate, să merită să-l iau, să fie ceva interesant, să fie ceva ce să pot să fac eu, nu că dă misiuni în care primești skin-uri și nici măcar nu le ești permanente, bine bă. Și ca să termini challenge-ul trebuie să bagi 1000 de euro. A fost colegul meu ăla, dobitocul ăla ce a furat. Trebuie să facă ceva acolo, nu, păcănele, ceva, cineva din tehnică cât de oh my god. Dar au ieșit pur și simplu o mizerie, da. Aia mi se pare mai fezabil. You're full of shit. Da, boss, ok, misiunea albă ceva, ai zis că nevastă să arată bine chiar dacă ai făcut vită. Dar nu începi cu...
They live in a nice little community near the highway, not far from central Colombia. The police went over to follow up with Joseph when he reported her missing on the 10th of October. Mengshi-ji spoke to her family every day, either voice or text. Even though she was in Missouri and they were in Xi'an, over 7,000 miles away, they were close. So when they last heard from her, on the 8th of October, and then didn't hear from her the following days, they started to wonder. What's going on? They started to wonder. Mengshi was born on the 18th of April 1991. This was during China's one-child policy, but her parents only ever wanted her. She loves painting, she about it, but her career went got her undergrad in engineering from University of Science and Technique Shanghai, and then in 2012, as part of an exchange program with 5 other students, she arrived at the University of The aim was just to finish her master's degree there, but she would end up spending a hell of a lot longer there than just that. When she was at the university, Joseph, future hubby, was studying there too at the same
Auzi, pentru după aia din zile în Zone Zero cu tentacule. Nu mă uite la ei pe canal. Deci aia e octopus porn, Japanese hentai porn fantasy character. Hey, you like octopus fucking... Yeah, there you go.
All that kind of
have a load of this shit.
Technology that makes like fake peeps and
she is the octopus and she's fucking herself. So you direct.
It's very similar to aerospace.
Da, atât e wrapped în jurul ei, da. Toți puștanii de 14 ani din China. Mami, dăm cardul! Pentru ce? Trebuie niște caiete mai scumpe. Da să-l bag pe telefon cardul repede. Să arăt ceva. Uite, asta e prietena mea. Și uneori e bine să ai o prietenă virtuală decât una adevărată. Saves a lot of fucking time. Ce pula mea asta e? Nürburgring? No.
They married 2 weeks later, if you can believe that. Like proposed within 2 weeks. Bump, bump, bump. That's the wedding song. There was no messing around with them. They were just, and by what that means is she needed a visa, so they had to get married right quick. The next year they would have a daughter, after which Mengshi became a stay-at-home mom. Then she disappeared in October 2019. Joe said that on the night of the 8th of October, the last time she was seen, he approached her, maybe looking for a little something. She was not having any of it. He wanted to give her a massage, full body massage. She was not keen on that at all. I know, you think like the Jinbir's got instantly with it. No, right? She wasn't having it. She was like, this is fucking stuff. Then the next morning though, she was gone. He woke up. She left behind her car keys, so even though they lived beside the highway, no dice, she left behind her phone, her wallet,
Mai mulți fan am acum cu Fire. Avoc Sax.
Today, the push for help continue as deer hunting season begins. CPD is asking for your help in helping solve a high-profile missing persons case.
And so the search began in the wild of an olive.
It's actually Mengqi, and it has tone to it. Well, he's a very dedicated person. He's a hard worker. I really like that. That's important to me. And she's really, she's very, very detail-oriented. And that's something that I honestly didn't see a lot in a lot of people and really a lot of girls as well. But she was, you know, she's a mechanical engineer with me, or same as I am. And that was something that was pretty important to me too, because I really kind of always thought that I'd have.
5 days after Mengqi went missing, Joe did an interview with KORCG Turkey, local news, trying to spread the word.
I know she was talking to somebody else on the side, and I didn't know that until.
Da, asta și omorâ nevasta că l-a nervat.
You know.
Adică în general când de acolo pleacă, numai știi cam mult că era emigrantă săracă și tot o amenința cu aia, că du-te mă acasă. Astfel copil. Fucking bullshit. Nu înțeleg cum poți să iubești pe una să fii în halul ăsta de evil după aia cu ea.
I think she's just confused and maybe scared. I don't know if she felt alone. I don't know where it came from really.
Totuși, mama lucrăm cu toți. Cred că se schimbă treaba între voi, că faci un copil și așa, e insane.
I'd give her kisses and I'd give her hugs and she
would kiss me back. Stab in the fucking throat. What the fuck?
She didn't want to hold my hand and stuff.
Get a hold of yourself, man.
I don't know why she didn't want to keep love alive with me. I tried, but
so if you were able to focus on anything really other than his whole chin thing, his whole chin business, you might have noticed a few things. The marriage wasn't going great, and she also was speaking to someone else. It turned out that Mengqi had been having kind of a flirtatious, sexual online relationship with a man back in China, and maybe that was on the road to becoming more. And Joe and Mengqi were not getting on terribly well. This was documented by a series of recordings both Joe and Mengqi made. They were recording each other. They were recording the disintegration of their own marriage.
Talk to the manager. You need to know.
You don't listen enough. You need to know when to listen. Right now what's happening is just more of what I don't want.
Communication.
Lack of it. You're being really mean to me.
Ce-a făcea așa? Ce-a mobilă pe casă, nu?
You want me to break? You want me to hurt somebody?
Da, draga mea, stai numai pic să găsesc. Așa, am găsit.
I want that to happen during this semester. I want it to happen soon. Sooner better. Okay.
I'm not sure why he recorded anything, because Kermit the Frog over here does not come out of it looking particularly well. There have been incidents, like after Mengqi gave birth, her parents came over from China to spend some time with their daughter, who obviously was, delicate after just giving birth, and also with their granddaughter. That pissed the shit out of Joe. He was like, here, listen, I can't be having this now. He wanted them out 5,000, and he began to take it out on his own wife. Mengqi was also trapped in the marriage, like away from her family and her friends and everything else, trapped in this place in the middle of Missouri, and she, because of her visa issues, she couldn't leave. And Joseph knew that, and he would regularly threaten her with it, as in behave or else, ICE is coming.
You'll probably get deported, and it's mine. So I don't know. Are you gonna play nice? Are you gonna try and play good?
Piece of shit.
Obviously, I'm not gonna represent you to stay in America anymore. But Anna's not leaving America. Can't tell you that.
So she finally had enough and ran away from this moribund marriage. Well, the police checked. Taken a taxi or an Uber or anything like that.
You find all those stories about men and or women.
ようこそ。私が誰かわかりますか？残響再現。いけつく氷を避け。朝日にきらめく霜のごとく。私に任せて。
It was on the 15th of October that he told them all
これがモンテリの挨拶です。
and that she had last told him he had to be somewhere in the morning.
まだまだ。よっ。これぞ天覧。そこです。世界はこの手に。あ、いや。速やかに片付けましょう。モンテリの名にかけて。これはどう？
わお、もうダディに
私が誰か分かりますか？私の後ろに権限せし監獄よ。これがモンテリの挨拶です。宴の始まりですよ。断橋再現。春、雪を溶かせ。これがモンテリの挨拶です。逃げられる子でも。
It's only when people started looking for her that he called the police. He didn't even call the emergency number like 911. He called a non-emergency emergency.
勝利の女神が微笑んだ。アルテの完成ですわ。私の後ろに朝日にきらめく霜のごとく。こちらのこれがモンテリの挨拶です。これで終わり。
She left her wedding ring and her phone, her car.
How old is the person?
She's she's Asian, Chinese.
What's her name?
Monkey G.
Am folosit-o. Unde am folosit-o?
You'd also say that the day she went missing, which is the, October the 9th, that was when he woke up and she was gone, he got into her car and started driving around the hiking trails and the state parks, one part looking for her, she's knocking around here in the middle of nowhere, we should decide to go out for a stroll. On the other hand, he was saying, man, this is so stressful, I need to get out there, just go for a drive, chill.
I got to relax and at the same time. Wait a minute. You got to relax, your wife is missing.
楽しいわ。沈むのよ。水底へ深海にいざないましょう。くすぐったいわ。これがモンテリの挨拶です。逃げられるとでも？これぞ天覧。誉れはモンテリと共に。新時代へようこそ。ここです。速やかに片付けましょう。私が誰かわかりますか？私の後ろに権限せし監獄よ。大丈夫、私はここよ。受け取りなさい、海のささやきを。深淵で泳ぎなさい。これがモンテリの挨拶です。逃げられるとでも？ひざまずきなさい。勝利の女神が微笑んだ。モンテリの名にかけて。私の後ろに権限せし監獄よ。これがモンテリの挨拶です。私が誰かわかりますか？
Not for anything to do with his wife's disappearance. No, nothing to do with that. Shot? He was arrested literally with the bag in hand. Like, he was aimed at him. Mungchi's mother told him the bruise. And Mungchi herself had spoken about it a few times. About what he had done. He was held on $500,000 bond. Now, one thing about Joe is that he was 23 years old, and he was an immature guy. Now, when I say immature, I don't mean, you know, 23 years old, he was out partying too much. You know, going out there doing whatever. When I say immature, I mean, I guess emotionally immature. But emotionally immature in the way that a toddler is emotionally immature and will throw tantrums if it doesn't get its way. Police searched Joe's house that same day of his arrest. They found a few things in his place. One of those things was a diary where he laid out how to respond to questions in the police interview and in media interviews. He had a script written. I don't know why he didn't get rid of this. That kind of shit. Like, well, you think you're gonna reminisce about this later on? Like, he had it there. Say one of the things he had written down, like to remind himself, was always refer to her in the present tense. It's common slip people let in. It's referring to somebody in the past tense, implying they know what happened.
Went along with it, and that was something that really impressed me as well. She was a great mother the whole way.
Not very good.
And
he had this whole kind of melange of things he would do to try and get away with his wife disappearing. Didn't think he had it in him. The authorities behind him think they had a pretty good idea of what happened. So they searched for evidence in his house. And remember that the day she disappeared, he told police he went out for a drive to some parks and all that kind of stuff. Here's the unwind. Yeah, little Miss Ball and Chain winding me up, lads. Well, they found a boots in his house that were covered in mud. Maybe the ones he'd been wearing the very day she disappeared. Kind of much like we've actually seen in a couple of cases before, that a vehicle will have mud on the tires, and that can kind of give away of where the car was, judging by the type of mud. Maybe they could have a similar situation here. I mean, tires, they're just car shoes, really, when you think about it.
The Chinese community and the greater Asian community are holding on to hope. KMUH's Bailey Yang spent the day talking to them. She joins us live in Colombia with their reaction.
The flyers in my hand, it's the same as this one that have been up here for 4 months. I talked to some of the local business in the morning, and the spokesperson tell me they're not ready to take the flyer down until they hear good news.
4 months after Mungchi went missing.
Yeah, I pray for Mungchi every day.
However, following that with where he'd gone that day, cell phone records, it didn't lead them to what they were looking for. At this stage, being Mungchi's body.
Today marks 1 year since missing Colombian woman Mungchi was last seen alive. With the Colombia Police Department, was resumed back to the river.
However, even without a body, Joe Elledge was charged. While he was charges with first-degree murder. Charged through, though, without a body which, over a year later, they still had found. That is until a hike in Rock Bridge Memorial came along and noticed some light colors among the snowy gray spring foliage. In March 2021, skeletal remains were found. The park was only 15 minutes south of their home.
Breaking news on ABC-17 News at 6. Human remains found south of Colombia, and police conference scheduled tonight aren't connected. We spoke to you on ABC-17 News at 5. The human remains were discovered earlier today. Rockford Memorial State Park.
Completely random, but she had been found. After a year and a half, her family had already gone back to the time and they'd given up.
17 months after she was reported missing in October of 2019, his driver license was found nearby. Investigators are waiting on DNA results to make a positive assessment.
By this stage, the remains were so far gone, it was impossible to tell what killed her. But 4 ribs that were found were completely broke.
Oh my god, he didn't fucking crit his ult. Oh my god, Kalchara, no wonder you're shit.
After she disappeared, he never himself. She's gone. Bit of a lagger, right? It doesn't mean this shit. Now, Joe's cell phone record did put him right by her remains on the day before. Also on that day, it had been raining quite heavily. And out there, what about white? And some juniper needles found in his shoe. Now, this is pretty remarkable. Like, this juniper needles that were found in the mud on his shoe, they could match the DNA of those needles in his shoe. The juniper trees that were found near her body. DNA matched, so they could tell not only was it the same tree, it was the exact same tree he had been where her body was. Joe's trial began on the 1st of November when he pleaded not guilty. His explanation was not that he had run away anymore, but now it was a tragic accident. They had been fighting for a long time, and she could give us a bit of feedback.
Jurors, lawyers, and Joseph Elledge himself listened to hours of recorded arguments he and his wife had in the year before her death. The tapes from late 2018 showed she and Elledge arguing over marital and family problems. Elledge told you he felt disrespected by her when her mother stayed in the apartment following the birth of their daughter. Both Elledge and Steve even told Joseph's mother, Jean Elledge, in one recording that they feared each other.
They never meant to. Simply did.
He lied to the press. And he lied to mention stuff. And he's certainly not proud of that. That he had no intent. Certainly not murder. That's not even close.
He tried to confront her about the man she could talk to online. And then he said, look, I'm taking Hannah, her daughter, in the kitchen. They went at each other. She lunged at him. That he must have quite surprised. He went for him, he pushed her back. She banged off the counter, and that's when she snapped 4 of her ribs. Sheer small, but she went on for him. Then she got up with 4 snapped ribs, fair play, and went for him again. This time he pushed her yet again a little more forcefully, and she went back flying. Skull, hit the tiles,
he didn't overreact in a violent way. He pushed to get to his daughter. She lost her balance and fell. And hit her head. And it was a thud.
She was lights out for like a little minute, then got up, scratched her noodle. You win this round. She went up to bed. The next morning, Joe awoke, but Mengshi didn't. He was shaking her, no dice. She was dead. He then panicked, and he buried her.
I reached over and touched Mengshi on the arm, and I said that I'll get Anna.
Did you get any response?
No.
Did you find any signs of life? No. Realized that she was dead.
Pretty much, yes.
The $1 million question is, what is going on in your mind where you wouldn't call 911?
It looked so weird. It was so unusual. It looked bad. I was afraid, and it looked bad, though. I knew that people would.
The Constitution on your hand said 4 verbs. It's like not stroking fractures. Really, all you need to know is that after she wouldn't be getting it. Again, that might be story. Anyway, true. He pushed her, she snapped 4 ribs. She ain't gonna be getting back. She's gonna be lying on the ground in pure agony. Just waiting. Anything that would have happened would have been murder.
Did you hit her with a toolbox real hard and come down? Did you hit her?
No.
Did you suffocate her? No. Did you strangle her? On the bed.
I'm sorry, what?
Nice job over there.
That's
どこを見ている。ご退場。私に従いなさい。剣士、閉めるわよ。
Wow.
To smack Moshi and physically beat her down.
The defense actually The jury came back beating them halfway and found Joselic guilty of second-degree murder. And he didn't have to kill her, but he did plan it.
大丈夫。私はここよ。受け取りなさい。海のささやきを。どこを見ている。容赦しない。私に従いなさい。そろそろ終わりね。おとなしくしろ。
痛みよ、我が身をまとえ。壊れろ。やってみろ。
Pretty interesting how DNA tree, wow, that genuinely is like pretty fascinating. No, you guys are right. I mean, I keep saying it's not going to take off, but they want this. This whole story, though, of her running away, some online lover she had. Pretty obvious it wasn't true. As I said, he was a child. He didn't get the white or the subservient white he wanted. He saw red. Now, he was orange for the next 20 years. But now, that's great. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, look after each other, look after yourself, because I love Hey you, and well, my name is Mike, and in this old video, what we are doing is heading on down to Georgia, much like the devil. The devil did in this one. For a good old, southern style mystery y'all. You know what I do actually? Right now it says good up here, but then when I go review later, but yeah, this was a really scary and odd one. Heinous, horrific, frustrating, and there's no shortage of theories ranging from the credible to psychics, which I'm all in on this one. If the Magic 8 Ball hasn't solved it yet, don't give up. Yeah, there's so many theories. We even got murderous alligators chomping around and doing things which, I mean, I don't prove an alligator couldn't do it. Let me put it that way. And if an alligator ever did learn to use a Magic 8 Ball, then we are really screwed. But this story, like I said, there's a mysterious group of people in this story who planned something and did something that's absolutely terrifying and are still out there to this day. So let's give it a go.
Așa puțin level, așa puțin skill level are healerul ăsta și așa de bine e el de vai și mare. Da, chiar nu se-ți bat capul să
Our story today gets you an invite to the wealthy, exclusive, gated community of Great Waters Rentals. You're invited.
Apoi dacă și în gated community se întâmplă să primești omorul de la nu știu care, ce dracu mai e?
Situated on the shores of Lake Oconee, spanning 18,000 acres, the Lake Oconee is a man-made lake, and it's a big old one of that. It's fairly big. That's big water, encroaching on 3 different counties, them being Greene, Morgan, and their county of Putnam. It's not far from Atlanta, or Augusta, and roughly 16 miles from the city of Eaton. And along with the usual water sports you would expect with an attractive lakeside community, you also got fishing, a Jack Nicklaus golf course, and a Ritz Carlton, earning a solid 4.5 on-trip advisor. And just like most communities, it has the old population and the low crime, especially this one. I mean, you'll have the odd thing taking part here and there, but otherwise it's a safe place with its own man murder. This is like Jurassic Park in more ways than one. But you know yourself, it's the kind of place where people Kentucky Derby parties with the big and the champagne and the tuxedos and all that sort of shite. And that is exactly what was happening on the morning of Saturday, May 3rd, 2014, when Huel and Peggy Wynn held a gathering for a few friends and neighbors to get together, relax, you know, watch the race, few sips maybe. But conspicuous by their absence from this party was Russell and Shirley Firm. They were close friends, they were neighbors, they were regular attendees at these sorts of events. The Derby went, and after 3 more days passed without a peep from the Dermans. Worried about their friends, Peggy and Huel decided to check on them at their house, less than a mile away, just down the road. Despite being relatively fit and healthy for their ages, the Dermans were still nearing their 90s, Russell 88 and Shirley 87. Arriving at 147 Caroline Drive on the morning of the 6th of May 2014, the Winds, they found the previous day's newspaper in the mailbox just out front. Okay, odd. But then even more worrying than them not collecting the newspaper for at least 24 hours was the fact that the back door to the Dermans' house wide open.
Nu mai trebuie să stăm în căcatul ăsta. Adică
never a good sign, even in a neighborhood as safe as this. The Winds entered and called out, checking each room of the 3,200 square foot house one at a time.
Nu mai aveam chef de nicio culoare. Nu mai am nervi.
Nothing seemed out of place. There was an unmade bed here, there was a lampshade that was kind of askew, but nothing really. Like no signs of violence that we would kind of expect to see. You know, shit thrown around. On the kitchen table was the Friday, the 2nd of May edition of USA Today. The crossword was partly done, so they were definitely here, you know, on the 2nd. Otherwise, though, it was completely empty, the whole place. Shirley, being a deeply house-proud woman, had always kept the place spotless, and that's just how it appeared. Appeared, that is, until Huel, upon re-examining the garage he had just been in but went back in case he had missed something, found Russell lying on the ground in a pool of blood between the Dermans' 2 cars. He had been decapitated. It seems that on the first check of the house, they'd only given the garage a quick glance over and had missed Russell, whose body was obscured by the large cars. Tells had been placed around the body in a clear effort to stop the blood from running out under the garage door and outside. And Russell's head was missing. New Jersey natives, Russell and Shirley had been married for 64 years, since 1950. After serving in the Navy during World War II, Russell would go on to work as an executive for a clock-making company. Shirley attended Barnard College before marrying Russell, and after staying home to raise their 4 children, Mark, Keith, Bradley, and Leslie. Mark Dermond, also known as Lark, he was the couple's eldest son, and he struggled his entire life with addiction, substance abuse problems throughout it. He had done some time in prison even, and had been in and out of rehab. He'd even stolen from Russell and Shirley, you know, a couple of times, but always, he always refused their help. You know, so it seems like, you know, Russell and Shirley, they had pretty much zilch contact with Mark. Life was otherwise good for the Dermans and their other children. The couple moved down to Georgia in the 80s, eventually building their dream home at the lake. Golf for Russell and garden and bridge club for Shirley as they got into their old age. But they had 9 grandchildren to keep them.
But don't challenge a launcher. That's too much.
But they weren't, you know, just done yet. You know, moving down there, they eventually acquired 19 Hardee's restaurants, you know, franchises, which then they were running and working at, and that was then work for their kids. 2 of their children would eventually do that too. They were never like too flashy though. They weren't, you know, big spenders living on big boots. They just worked hard. And around the turn of the millennium, so around the year 2000, they were like, listen, let's pack it in, let's enjoy our retirement, let's let the kids take over and, you know, chillax.
Wow, intră acum, fără să-i spun o intrat. Poate intră de 3 ori în el, că așa de prost, nu știe cu instanță deschisă.
When Mark and a friend had gone to Atlanta to buy crack. Unfortunately for them though, when they went to this dealer, he was not a drug dealer, he was a death dealer, and instead of selling, he would be robbing, and he had an iron trained on them both, Mark and his friend. Mark, he was shot twice, He was shot in the neck and the torso. Mark's friend shot in the leg. But Mark would die at the scene on his 47th birthday. Though he'd stopped golfing, Russell still enjoyed regular walks and was an avid reader. Shirley played bridge twice a week and loved it. Loved a good crossword. Together, they went to church, they visited with friends and neighbors, and were, by all accounts, just good old people. There was nothing to suggest, a violent end to either of them. For what, that kind of shite. They wouldn't be involved in that kind of stuff. Sheriff's officers responded within minutes of the 911 call.
My god, a început și Battlefield-ul cu chestia asta, până acum nu aveam jur. So fucking annoying.
Putnam County 911.
Yes, I have an emergency.
Okay.
I think I have somebody dead.
Okay, what's the address, ma'am?
What's the address here? We're in Great Water.
Is it 147 Carolyn Drive?
Yes, 147 Carolyn Drive.
Okay, and who is it?
The Dermans.
Okay, and you're a neighbor or something?
Yes, I just came to check on them. They've been missing for about 4 days.
Are they in the house?
Yes.
Hey, what's your name, ma'am?
I'm Peggy Wynn.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Dau direct display capture.
They're both dead, Miss Wynn?
Did you find both of them? No.
Okay.
No, it's just one.
Okay.
I don't know where the other one is.
Okay. Alright, I'll get you a deputy in the ambulance over there just in case.
And if it's possible, even more worrying than Russell's missing head was Shirley's missing everything. There was simply no sign of her at all. Even more confusing, apart from the blood pooling from the decapitation, which appeared to be done post-mortem due to lack of arterial blood spray, there was no signs of a struggle in the house at all. Like how this happened to Russell and whatever happened to Shirley. I mean, Russell, although he was 88, getting on in years, he was still, he still kept fit.
Explosive casing attached to the bolt tip.
He'd had an old man
Explosive
and he wouldn't have gone quietly. Nothing appeared to have been stolen. The couple's phones, wallets, and even Rolex watches were still in the house.
I don't need lasers.
Thanks for watching WGXA News at 11. I'm Raymond Tubb. Well, first up tonight, the Putnam County Sheriff's Office is trying to find a missing woman whose husband was found murdered this morning. They're trying to locate 87-year-old Shirley Derman. They believe that she might be the victim of a kidnapping. Investigators were called to the Great Waters community on Lake Oconee in Putnam County this morning. They were called after friends went in to check on the Dermans and found 88-year-old Russell Derman dead. Shirley Derman is 5 feet 2 inches tall and 148 pounds with gray hair and blue eyes. They believe that she was possibly abducted. They think that the crime happened between Friday and Sunday.
This is weird as shit, and as we see this kind of thing again and again and again, people dead or missing and nothing stolen, it was a targeted attack. That could only be the thing. If they weren't there for any other shit, they were there for them specifically. But why? The FBI would put up more than 100 billboards in and around Eatonton and offer $20,000 reward for any information leading to Shirley's safe return. The sheriff and deputies scoured the area with cadaver dogs, and even had divers drag the lake behind the Derman's house. There was simply, despite all this, there was simply no sign of Shirley.
There's a new tool in the hunt for 87-year-old Shirley Dermond. A week after Dermond's husband Russell was found decapitated in the couple's home on Lake Oconee, state officials are enlisting the use of an ROV, a remote operating vehicle used to scour surrounding waterways. Putnam County Sheriff Howard Sills says investigators are still working inside the Derman's home as they desperately search for any clues. Sills says his office is conducting interviews, gathering tips, and working to obtain the Derman's financial records.
No substantial clues or ransom note or anything, led the investigators to believe, well, they couldn't. Shirley could still be alive. Maybe she had done this. Maybe she had killed her husband and chopped his head off. Initially, the sheriff suspected that, Russell had been tortured before his death because he had a partially crushed fingertip, but that turned out to be just an old Navy injury. But that was the thing about his body. They had his body, Sam's head, but no, marks on the bruises, stab wounds, injuries at all. It's very strange. Now, speaking of mysterious and untraceable groups, out there, still out there to this day. I worry. I worry for you. I sat in the shower last night crying because I was worried about any scary people out there who might be coming for my favorite people. That's you, Madu. So then I thought to myself, well, hey, maybe instead of me going to your house, like crawling down your chimney like a spider to make sure you and yours are safe, maybe I could just tell you guys the easiest way to keep them safe and untraceable. Get NordVPN. NordVPN is the online service keeping you safe on the internet. With a single clickety-clack, your IP address is hidden. What does IP address stand for? I don't know. IP standing up, but it just means that if your IP address is hidden, no one can find you, no matter where you are in the world, and that sounds good to me. I've said it before and I'll say it again, folks. I constantly come up against can't access this content in your location. And I shake my little paw at the sky every time it does. But now I shake my little paws on the keyboard because I can set my IP address to be anywhere in the world I want to be to access this content. And with my unique bespoke link, that is nordvpn.com/thatchapter, you can get a special little dealio that is just for you. Get a NordVPN 2-year plan plus a bonus gift at nordvpn.com/thatchapter. It's risk-free, so you really can't go wrong with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. It's not legal. It is legal. They just told me. And I would be remiss not to mention NordVPN's threat protection. With threat protection, you are safer than ever before against malicious websites, those banned your websites, pop-ups, get out of town, and trackers, no thank you. All gone. They ain't just doing VPNs, they do the whole shebang that will keep you safe on the internet. So once again, use my special link and you'll find it down below in the description. That is nordvpn.com/thatchapter to get a deal that is just for you. Thank you, Mr. NordVPN. Now that's... so then, they had a plan to execute to this place, right? Alright, Gacha's from CCTV. Well, no, it didn't. Unbeknownst to absolutely everybody who lived and worked there, CCTV was not possible. A storm a month prior had nothing. So, of all friggin' times where the CCTV2 not working, we had a surrounded by all these rich old people. With no car or cell phone to track and little else to go on regarding Sherlock's whereabouts, any hope of getting our troops just took sector Bravo. Good luck, squad leader. That is, 10 days later, at a lake 6 miles away, that boat didn't just fade, it went straight. It couldn't run. A man named Dennis Higgins took his boat out for a spot of fish. A lot more than the catch he spotted at first what he thought was a boy. Getting closer, he realized it was no boy. You know where this is going. Shirley's buddy.
Sector Alpha now secure.
Now, that's what the sheriff noted a professional wouldn't have done. They wouldn't have weighed the body down with cinder blocks. Because they simply wouldn't have done that, gas. It's going to float to the surface, kind of no matter what happens. But her body being dumped at the bottom of the lake 6 miles away, it just makes it already weird and terrifying.
Stai frate că sunt așa departe, că eu te văd în pula mea și cu elicopterul și te tragi după mine de jos. Prost. Să pe ăștia. Hai, du-te de repede aici. E crip și spun. Slabe așa că se va la vehicule. Cazul vehicule nu oameni. Apasă e pentru vehicle problem.
Her body was clearly never meant to be found. Again, the sheriff may think this was not professional because if it's a professional murder, they'll just kill him and leave him there. They're not going to cut off one person's head and then try and put his body on another person. Gunshot wound, you know your duty.
Never mind, guys, I'm glumit.
But the head was not taken as a trophy.
Da mare, catul ăsta și greu, că nu pot să plec.
It was out of necessity to stop the bullet from being found and then trace back to the gun. bullet was still wrapped around his noodle. Well, he's found that thing.
Ai loc pe mine, fraiere aici.
See if that was like.
Da, you better fucking run.
Just secured sector Delta. Like it was legally on. It would have been traceable. Again, professional.
Hai, low.
Just saw.
L-am ratat, cred.
Space Zero Lab, they
Vai, de pula mea.
untraceable guns by trading.
Prinde locul nu
Shit, they had more weapons and stuff. Low life. There's so many bizarre things.
Enemy vehicle destroyed!
Oi și proste, mă.
But there was nothing. There wasn't any actual evidence that Shirley was killed at the house. There was nothing in this house other than Russell's body. So, like, they took Roy. Either other than Russell's body just being found there.
But
where was Shirley? Well, then why was nothing? And why work so hard to hide her body, but leave his body minus the head? Why spend time decapitating the body to take the bullet, then hide the other body and then leave his body? In the days before, whatever happened, there was no anything wrong. So, you know, he was seen running special errands around town,
Bring it down to their reserve.
Shirley she played bridge at the nearby parking center, just as she did every week. Their schedule leading up to what happened was as normal as could be. They had
Our forces just conquered Sector Charlie.
They'd spoken to Rachel on the phone, and there was simply nothing out of the ordinary for either of them. Their own. So what exactly happened to the Dermans between the 2nd of May and
Incoming! 3 o'clock!
Well, we know they were alive and well on Thursday, the 1st of May. That's the last definite confirmed day they were alive. The 2nd of May was Friday, the day before they were supposed to go to the ceremony. On the 2nd of May, they had that USA Today crossroads right at its top.
Just secured Sector
At least did that.
Nearly every sector is now secure.
Also fails to go to the email that is very much, you know, I believe, you know, 1,000 unread emails in his inbox, you know what I mean? So likely whatever happened to the Germans had happened or was happening at the time happened on the Friday. But by all means, very private, deliberately choosing their way for others.
We're attacking one of our
Their desire for privacy now really work against the investigation. Because they live away from everybody, surrounded by trees, it was very private. None of their neighbors could say they had seen anything or heard seen any strangers, heard any screams, nothing.
The Putnam County Sheriff's Department set up a reward fund hoping to generate new leads in the killing of Russell and Shirley Derman. Today, Putnam County Sheriff Howard Sills announced that a fund has been set and is asking for the public's donation to add to it. The Reynolds plantation has
Să mi se place, bă, să poți procura de la cauri low.
In the months following the murders,
Vezi că n-ați dat pe
agents and 10 sheriff's deputies
nu zgârceai, dar am gândit.
and private news were constantly on all the German living
Eu nu l-am văzut la acolo. Prindeți un loc cu
all of them according to the sheriff, did nothing but help in the investigation. So their children, at the very least, well, being ruled out, but the only kid may or may not have done something. So like this case in particular, I mean, they live so remotely, so private, you would think you would know.
Hai, frate, e one shot.
Like, you know, this seems like such a game movie that you would pull off. Did any robbery go wrong? Nothing was stolen. The killers wanted to figure out what happened. Again, this wasn't, you know, in a somebody in a certain
Enemy vehicle down!
when, you know, their neighbors went in there. Of course, Mark Derman's murder gave investigators their first and most obvious line of inquiry. The murderer was still safely.
Nu te aștept gunnerul ăsta să facă ceva în puii mei, dar Boris ca Iurea nu moare de gândă. Trebuie să mai repede, că uite.
Their sons and killers. There was no connection. Russell and Shirley had long one early here was that Russell, you know, was from New Jersey. Maybe he'd been doing some dealing for the Sopranos kind of shit, you know, family from Jersey or something. Maybe they had said I hit him. Push it forces at Echo 1. They just see the fishes. Shirley was was a cartel sending a message. You know, the murders were a message. I mean, they seemed kind of dramatic. Let's say that. But I mean, then there was no. What's the message then? If you're sending a message, it's usually a good idea to leave a message. Danger! The lack of evidence is evidence itself. No batter at the scene indicates that if, as investigators believe, Russell was shot in the head, probably wasn't shot in the home or garage where his body was found. Which then begs another question. Was he shot outside? Was shot outside while bring his body inside, and would they have been seen? This case just constantly raises questions, which then have 10 more questions. The FBI's behavioral sciences division even drew a profile of the perpetrators could be, you know. No, the sheriff would later say the profile page said the killers, they like guns and knives, so that's helpful. The killers like guns and knives. Wow, really?
It is personal. There's a lot of indications of the psychology and the behavior behind that. It's not a random crime.
The sheriff, though, Howard Stills, he's a bit of a character, and he, even to this day, he has not let anything go. Every single thing he can do, he is doing.
Is there anything that people need to be looking out for, or what is suspicious that they can call about?
I hate to grab it. Sound rude. I'm still looking at it. You got to concentrate. Where we go. Evidence is not always, certainly in most cases, it's not some forensic thing. It's witnesses, record, things, tangible things. And we speculate as long as we want.
Decapitations are pretty rare, so you'd think that would be a clear indication of what could have happened, but no. There are so many questions in this case, not least being the complete lack of an obvious motive. And, as is so often, you want to get the motive, you can find out who it was, but there's nothing.
Yep, I can
take it all straight question. Tips coming in range from the helpful, a neighbor seeing
I can barely see this fucking game at the moment.
But it was a man the invisible. Another woman also claimed to have a revelation and hopefully informed the sheriff that this case may involve water. Murder on a lake may involve water. Blown my mind. Another tip or suggestion was that an alligator is responsible for what happens to Shirley and Russell. A hungry alligator came in, bit off Russell's head, and then fed Shirley to death and weighed her body down with cinder blocks. Can't rule out what was fault. Another tip even was that Todd Cole, serial killer, covered young before. He made a back in South Carolina at the time, and he was known to do random attacks in like this. I mean, it's savage enough. However, that seems to be Todd Cole was always yapping away about what the shit he'd been up to, and
Russians are retreating. Spectacular work out there.
The couple had sold their boat a couple of years prior to the murders, but they kept the dock